what other things do I need to... So the story of the Buddha is, an awakened being. Somebody, like, it's you between dreaming and the awakened being. When you are awake, you see what is there, and when you dream, your mind is producing all kinds of stories. Do you see a difference between your dreaming self and your awakened self? Yeah. Who do you think is more clever? Huh? My dreaming self is totally out of control sometimes, really. I mean, it's like it cannot reason, it panics, it goes here and there, and it gets nervous and always loses things and misses the train. And, most of the time I wake up, I'm really happy that it was just a dream.
Falling from airplanes all the time.
You or me? You?
Me also.
Also, yeah. It's like, No, that was not really from aeroplanes. I was just falling. This is better now. This is not so bad anymore. But, stress. I'm so stressed in my sleep. I'm much less stressed in my daily life. I can deal much better with situations in my daily life. I think in my daily life I would lose my passport. I would go, okay, it's lost. What shall I do? Okay, I phone the Swiss embassy and that's it. But there, no, I run and I look and I this and that. So this is it. So this is us. We are the dreamers, and the awakened one is the awakened one, who has thoughts that work and that, that can figure out problems. Well, the Buddha doesn't have thoughts, but anyway, he reacts spontaneously out of compassion and out of wisdom. Okay, so then Buddhism first in India, and then so Theravadan Buddhism is this part of Buddhism where you work for self-liberation, and Mahayana Buddhism is the part where you want to attain enlightenment, you want to become a Buddha in order to benefit others, just like Shakyamuni Buddha did. Although it is said Shakyamuni Buddha went into Parinirvana, but it is said these Buddhas, they manifest again and again and again and again in forms that we can see, that they can make contact with. Yeah, so when you, Shuki was talking about the Vajrayana, you train your mind to see whatever form is actually your master. So your master is just manifesting in a human form, so that you can make contact, whereas actually it is a fully awakened being. But this is module 14, so 15 or something. So first, we're still here. We see them as human beings, very wise, very kind, having studied a lot, this is what I'm saying, not me, okay? Having studied a lot, having... Yeah, well, I know more than you do, but if you have other people, if you would have the whole spectrum, then you would know. Anyway, it's not that I'm putting myself down. That's just it. I just know how I am. So, okay. So that was more in the southern, like Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, Laos is more Theravadan Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhism, where you work. You go the full way to attain full enlightenment. That was more than Vietnam, Tibet, Korea, Japan, China. This is that goal. So there's those two different vehicles, two different goals.
When we think of Mahayana school, it seems so obvious that this is how I would think of it, as being superior to the Theravada in the sense that helping others, would seem so much better than simply just wanting, liberation for oneself.
Yeah.
So my question is, how? There's still a Theravada school today. How is it that they don't?
I think it's predispositions. The Buddha said there is definite vehicles where people go into, and actually they asked me in a Vipassana center, they asked me to come and give courses on bodhicitta. The last group I had, and they're all Vipassana practitioners, they listened to this bodhicitta, Tonglen, all these things, they were very interested. At the end, it was like, thank you very much, now we know, but we go back to our own practice. But it's fine. It's fine. It's not selfish. It's really fine. It's okay. The Buddha taught both vehicles because people have inclinations for, and don't forget, it's not just the ordinary helping. It's really, like if you talk about bodhicitta, it's really, I have to attain enlightenment for the benefit of others. It's not just nirvana. You see, there's different nirvanas. It's not when you realize your own emptiness and all this, that then you're a Buddha. It's then you have to practice the 6 perfections and all these other things. So it's not as simple as that. So when we talk about nirvana, nirvana is that state where you're free of all suffering. So there's 4 different nirvanas. Maybe that's a good thing that you write down. It will definitely come into the exam. The 4 nirvanas is the natural nirvana is our Buddha nature. We could be Buddhas, but it's terribly covered from many, 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 many lifetimes. Habits, thoughts, views, reactions, and all that. Okay? We could be Buddhas already now. It's there. We can never lose it. So that's natural nirvana. Then you have what is called nirvana with remainder. Like in this human body, that is in the nature of suffering, is your last life because you have worked so hard and you have seen emptiness again and again and again and again. Your mind is totally familiar with it, but you still have this body that still dies. So the mind is total nirvana, but the body is still a samsaric body. Samsara is this circle of cyclic existence where we are reborn without any control. Then when you die, then this mind does not take on another body. And that's nirvana without remainder. And then, of course, the Mahayana says you will not be able to stay there because the Buddhas will come and kick you out of there, and then you have to start the whole path again. I don't know if that's true. But anyway, we should never, do not underestimate that goal. There's a big goal already also, to eliminate all your negative emotions and especially that ignorant thing. So the Buddha taught both vehicles, so it's okay, So I just finished with the 4th one. So the 4th one is what is called non-abiding nirvana.
Yeah, you did 2, no? This is the 4th.
The first one is natural nirvana, then nirvana with remainder, which is this body that dies. Then the 3rd one is nirvana without remainder, no body, only mind, only peace. They say it's beyond concepts, only peace. Yeah, anyway, there's also a module which is called Nirvana, Samsara Nirvana, and then you can put it all in there. At least you've already heard it. And the 4th one is nirvana, is non-abiding nirvana. That means you take on a body again and again and again and again and again, in whatever form is of benefit. And you can take on more than one body at the time. Many, okay? So that is non-abiding nirvana, meaning you come back into the suffering world again and again and again. You're not just staying somewhere in nirvana in order to teach, in order to guide, in order to help. Not help in terms of being a doctor, but helps in terms of being somebody who can guide people, who knows the way out of samsara.
So it's nearly a bodhisattva.
Huh?
It's nearly a bodhisattva.
What do you mean it's nearly a bodhisattva?
Bodhisattva.
No, a bodhisattva is not a Buddha. A bodhisattva is not in nirvana. Okay? I'm talking about Buddhas here. I'm talking about the nirvanas.
And the nirvana with remainder can still produce karma or not?
Oh, I don't know. We're not going to go into that, okay? It's like probably not because... No, of course not, because he's in nirvana. So it's an arhat. Arhat that is in his body and in his lata. But let's not go into those details. Uh-huh.
This is the second one.
The second one,
The 3rd one again.
without remainder. Then it's just mind. It's just mind.
So it doesn't come. It's basically.
No, they just stay, mind is not matter, so they just stay in this peace. Oh, yeah. Now, do not be careful. If you don't want that for yourself, it is a huge illusion that you think you can then guide others to that. If you go, yeah, but that's boring. That's boring. I'd rather become a bodhisattva so I can come back again and again and again and eat my ice cream. It's not like that. So you see, you start
But
even...
it's selfish if you just want to let yourself free and...
No, because the world is rid of me. You know, I think most of us, me included, I do more damage to the world than help. You know? If I look how much things I need just to survive, so many people have to work for that. If I'm not there, they don't have to work for that. I'm not, you know, I think, how many people's peace of mind have I already disturbed? Then, how many people's peace of mind have I already disturbed? Quite a few. With my behavior, with what I am. If I'm not here anymore, I'm not disturbing anybody. So do not underestimate that goal of Theravadin. You know, don't become arrogant there. Because I see that some Theravadins, because they meditate a lot on love, compassion, joy, and equanimity, they're much more advanced in these mental states than the so-called Mahayanists. They're much less selfish sometimes when the Mahayanist who fights for the space in front so he can see His Holiness when he teaches.
I think saying that Mahayana is superior
I'm not,
will be a
yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I'm not in that, because the Buddha taught both vehicles.
There's a great danger in saying...
And you cannot, you know, out of selfishness, you cannot leave this samsara. They have very, very deep compassion also, and love and joy and equanimity. So do not underestimate that. You ended up in a Mahayana course, so don't worry. Don't worry about them, what they do. It's okay. So we're not doing that. So it's okay. You'll get taught like the whole path. Gosh, I have to kind of get on with it a little bit. Anyway, we still have some. So this is presenting the path, okay? So there are many paths. So in the Theravadian tradition, when you look at the Four Noble Truths, it's the Eightfold Noble Path. But we're not going to do that. We will look at what's called the three principal aspects of the path. Next time you will have that, maybe a one-page kind of practice where it gives you all the points that you have to think about. So at least you have the framework of how to attain enlightenment. As I said, we will not be able to go much into detail, but it's a good way to see the basis, the path, and the result. The basis are the two truths, or the two realities, or how to say it, the two levels of reality. It's called the two truths. Ultimate truth, which is this emptiness, you know, which is one side of the coin, and conventional truth, which is compassion, karma, how things function, and all this. So that's conventional truth, dependent arising. Okay? So these are the bases that you're working with. This is this watch. It has an ultimate truth, meaning it is, if you don't understand, don't worry, we will talk a lot about this. It's just, we have to start somewhere. It has an ultimate truth, which is, it is empty of existing from its own side. It's empty of being a watch. It is just parts of watch, but there's no real watch anywhere. And because it's not a real watch anywhere, because if it would be a real watch, it would have had to be watch since beginningless times, and it could never be something different. Okay? So it's conventional reality, yes, it functions, it tells me the time, and we can put a label on it, we can call it watch, I can wear it, and like that. So, but both are in this phenomena. Phenomena is something that exists. Both levels of existence are here. The conventional reality, I can see it, I can touch it, it has a function. But the ultimate reality, if I look for it, ultimately, I cannot find it. So this is the basis of what we try to understand in this Buddhist path. The path is the second one. What is the path to be able to understand these bases is method and wisdom. Sometimes it's called compassion and wisdom, but I prefer method because the method has to do with relative level, and wisdom has to do with the ultimate level. The wisdom of exploring the existence of this thing. The wisdom that then finds no watch. Everything you point at is not watch. Watch is just a label. So we know when I said delusions, ignorance adds to these parts watch. If I would be a dog, this wouldn't be a watch. But my ignorant human mind, who speaks English at the moment, adds a real watch, spreads watch over these parts, which then make it a real existing watch. Now, that's just the ignorance. But then is my watch. More added. Becomes part of me. There, if you take it. Actually, you can't take it. It's okay. It's a cheap one. I used to have a Rolex when I was a lay person. I gave it away to somebody when I became a nun. I said, somebody who didn't have money, I said, sell it, use the money. Wow, I'm so happy I had a Rolex. Otherwise, I would not have given her 3,000 francs. But because I couldn't do anything with that thing anymore as a nun, I could really give it to her and said, come on, sell it and use the money. Great. So if you have things that are expensive, don't think you're selfish, blah, blah, blah. The moment might come where you'll be able to give it to somebody and say, here, sell it. But you know, it's like you can give the object, but you wouldn't probably give the money that the object is worth to that person. So expensive things are a good thing to give away, to be sold. Easier to give away than paper, strange enough. Easier to give away gold and whatever else it had than to give away 3 bills with a 1 and 3 zeros to it. Yeah, so this one is cheap, but it works just as well as the Rolex. That's great. Okay, so then the result, yeah? So we have the basis, ultimate truth, conventional truth. We understand ultimate truth through wisdom. Conventional truth we understand through method or practicing method, because not just compassion. You know, like impermanence is not compassion, but it's method. Dependent arising, how things function, we understand through method. So some teachings go into method, some other teachings go into wisdom. The result of this path is the 2 bodies of a fully awakened being, meaning the mind of an awakened being and the form body of an awakened being. Now, okay, we could disagree. Mind is not body, but it's called a body. The Rupakaya, which is form body, and the Dharmakaya, which is the mind of a fully awakened being. So then you know what you want to attain. You know what you're working with, where you're starting from. You have to understand these 2 levels. You know how you're going to understand them, and you know the result. You'll be a fully awakened being. Great, isn't it? So basically what it does, Buddhism is about self-knowledge. It's not about knowing the world. It's about knowing what brings happiness and what brings suffering. It's about knowing your mind, how the mind functions, karma, all these kinds of things. And Buddhism is also not really salvation. It can lead you to freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from suffering and the causes from suffering. So it teaches us how to work with our own neuroses, not with the neuroses of others. And then you're okay. Because you see, even the whole world has no neuroses anymore, but you still have. For you, the whole world will still have neuroses because you project it outside. I see sometimes there should be a camera here. and also a screen. So you should see your faces sometimes when I say, okay, so remember it first time, so next time you come in conflict with another neurosis, remember, oh, I should only work with my own neurosis. Remember it. Maybe you have the space to remember it. Have the awareness you train. Just to finish, maybe, I think I covered just about everything that I wanted to cover. There is 3 ways to listen to the teachings. And they use cups. 3 wrong ways to listen to the teachings, and then I'll tell you the right way to listen to the teachings. So you can be the upside down cup. So nothing goes in. Kind of you come to this course already full of opinions, full of views, like that. Then you can be the leaking cup. You know, you understand, you go, yes, 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 yes. You go back home, and it's all forgotten. And this is why the method to teach you these things is great, because you hear the same things again and again and again and again. And it's actually this repetition and this familiarization of it, because sometimes people ask me, aren't you tired of teaching the same thing again and again and again and again? I said, no. Why? Because it's true. What I teach is true and it works. And you know, I'm the lucky one who goes to all my courses. So it's usually every weekend, not just here in Israel, wherever I am, at least once in an evening also during the week, plus sometimes, you know, retreats. So, you know, it's not that I'm terribly intelligent. Why I start to be able to integrate these things, it's because I keep hearing them again and again and again and again from others, and especially from me. I spend more time in my own teachings. I spend more time in my own teachings than in the teachings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, even though he would be a better teacher. Yeah, I start believing myself. I had a lot of faith already at the beginning. You know, sometimes so much faith that I wasn't really happy. I went like, shit, this is true. It's not a convenient truth, this truth. You know, that I'm responsible for myself. It's absolutely not convenient for my lazy ego. But then I also have an inspired ego and say, come on, this is possible, you know. You can become the person that you want to be. Open, spacious, patient, loving, wise. Not so people like me, but because then I feel good about myself. And it really, when we are in these states, I really feel as if I'm living my nature. It doesn't feel, wow, imagine today I was so patient. It's like, yeah, but when I get angry, then it goes, oh no, you know. But when I am in these states, I feel normal, natural, at ease. This is what the Buddhist teachings, when you put them into practice. So the first step is listen, then you think about them, then you meditate on them. So, but you can listen as an upturned cup, like, or you sleep, or it's like your mind is all over the place, or already nothing goes in. The leaking cup, so you have to repeat and repeat and repeat. Then is the contaminated cup. This would be wrong motivation. You learn about Buddhism so you can defeat Buddhism, because you think your philosophy is better. It's not worthwhile. You know, there's many different paths, there's many different belief systems, there's many different philosophies. I think each one has as goal to make people feel better, not to make people feel worse. So each one has value, so never get into arguments about whatever, you know. It's okay. I don't care under which flag somebody is sailing, really, honestly. If they truly, you know, develop more compassion, more consideration for others, an open heart, more patience, fine with me, no matter what they call it. If it creates more suffering, more violence, then need to change belief system, maybe. I don't think violence has anything to do with philosophy and religion. I think it's total misunderstanding. Total misunderstanding. Anyway. So these are the 3 cups, and with what kind of motivation you should listen, or motivation, yeah, you should listen on. Attitude is maybe better. It's good to develop these attitudes before you actually very seriously enter a spiritual path. You see yourself as a patient. You need help. What is our sickness? Our neuroses. Anger, greed, attachment, wrong views, these jealousy, pride, arrogance, all these kinds of things. Do you see it as sickness?
No.
Would you like to be rid of it? Or at least decrease it? The quiet people in the corner there's 3 poker faces in the corner there. I cannot read anything from your faces. One is totally hiding. Hello. Yeah, because I can't see you, so.
I see one.
Oh, good. Okay. Perfect. So, because when you see yourself as a patient, you know that there's something that needs to be done. And also you know that you cannot do it alone. So then we see the Buddha as the doctor.
But then you need to trust.
Huh?
You need the trust.
You need what?
Trust.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Yeah. You need to trust. Okay, what do? You're in India. There's one doctor in the space of like 300 kilometers. You say, oh, no, I don't know this doctor, I'm not going. You see, of course you need to trust. How can you trust the Buddhist teachings?
Try it out.
Yeah. Hear, listen, try it out. Don't trust the people around you because they're so relaxed and they're so happy and they're so this and that. You have to study, like I said, listen, think about it, and then try it out. Then the trust comes. But, so we say, where can I get this trust? It comes with time. So at the beginning, you should have an initial trust. Like, if I get sick here, somebody says, oh, brings me to a doctor. I have no idea who this doctor is. Yet I go. Why? Because I know alone, I cannot help myself. I break something. I broke my wrist in Spain. I had a terrible doctor. Still, I went because that's the only thing. Then I found out, he himself, he said, it's no good. We have to operate. So I went back home. So like this, yeah. Does that make sense? But we need to see him as the doctor, somebody who knows more than I do in this aspect.
Yes, but then you have 10 doctors, and each doctor tells you something else, then you go to a second opinion, and the second opinion tells you
Yeah, this is why I usually,
And then you're lost in the middle of not knowing who to trust.
Choose your teachers.
Yeah, I mean, here you have the teachings, you're not in danger of dying straight away. So as she says, you choose what you... if you have Buddhist teachers that tell you, like living teachers, like somebody sitting here, do they tell you contradicting things? Yeah, then. So, but there's other philosophies there, you're right, so you need to find out. Yeah. With the doctors, this whole thing about second opinion, many people ask me, don't you want a second opinion? I have a very, very low, it's still very high in Switzerland, health insurance. I cannot go for second opinion. So I trust the person, I go ahead. You know how much that helps the doctor if you trust him?
Yeah.
Then if you constantly kind of question and bring in your own opinions and all this. I made very good experience with that, almost blind faith. For the wrist, first one, that was it. I only asked him, I said, do you know how to do this? He said, yeah, I do this many times. So I could tell these people who told me you should get a second opinion. I asked him if he could do it. He said, yes, I believe him. But you're right, then physiotherapists come and they say, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. So I went back to the doctor. I said, somebody said this, somebody said this, somebody said that. He said, you can try it out, but I tell you, if you start physiotherapy now, it's not healed. The physiotherapist doesn't feel your pain. It might damage it. So I told everybody else, I don't want any of your opinions. They might be right in some cases, maybe not in mine. I go to my doctor, I trust him, finished. And it was a relaxed state of mind. And a relaxed state of mind for healing is a good state of mind, I think.
But you're also using judgment. It's not only
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I use both, When I have two opinions, well, whom do I trust more? And I'm not going for a third opinion because I know I had this thing with my back. I was in New Zealand, in Singapore, in Dharamsala, and in Delhi. One wanted to operate, the other said nothing to do. I had 4 totally different diagnoses. So anyway, you see the Buddha as the doctor. The doctor in the sense of somebody that we consult. We don't have to swallow everything the Buddha says. Even the Buddha says, don't believe anything I'm saying. But he didn't stop there. He said, chew it. And, if you want to find out if it's gold, you have to bite on it. So use it like that. Now the problem sometimes with us distrusting people is we look at it in a way so we find out that it's not gold instead of trying to see, hey, this really works. Because it's difficult to practice, Buddhism is not easy to practice because it goes all against this bloody ego and it goes against the comfort zone.
As a Buddhist, we take our look towards the Lama as this knowledge base who's going to help us go forward on the path or whatever. But the Buddha himself did not have this outer source to help him. I mean, if we look, the Buddha actually looked inwards.
Yeah. Okay. Look, if somebody thinks he doesn't need a teacher, it's fine with me.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
it's fine with me. Well, the Buddha had many teachers. They brought him to a certain point where they couldn't bring him there anymore. Are these people who don't need a teacher that far as Gautam, who was able to have these absorptions? But these absorptions he learned by meditation teachers. But he saw he could absorb. He was in total peace in absorption, but he hadn't found the answer yet. So, okay, we can reinvent the wheel. We can say, I don't need the Buddha, I found out myself. Fine. Everybody is really free to do that. Everybody is really free to do that. Can I just finish with this and then, because then we need to finish, otherwise I covered the 2 hours, but we didn't really start. Anyway, you're still here, you're still awake, so that's good. We didn't have a break, you're still alive, perfect. So, then we see the Dharma as the medicine. The Dharma is the Buddha's teachings. The doctor alone doesn't help. We need medicine. And we see our practice as the cure. Because even you have an excellent doctor, and you have perfect medicine, but you don't swallow it, what's the point? Even you know everything about this medicine, backwards and forwards, say, ugh, it's bitter, I don't want to swallow this. Then it doesn't help you. So these are the attitudes that are quite good to have, especially the first one, or the first two. Or 3, or 4. Like, we have to recognize that something not quite right with us. We have to recognize that we could be healthier. You need to have that trust in yourself. I think that's maybe even more important than the trust in the Buddha. If you lack that you can decrease your negative emotions. If you lack the trust in you that you could be that really loving person, patient, open, spacious, if you lack that trust in your Buddha nature, it will be very difficult to go through the hardships of the path. The same way, you see, if you have cancer, the suffering of chemotherapy is much bigger than the suffering of sitting in meditation. Yet, nobody would say, oh no, the weather is so nice today. I'm not going to my session of therapy, I'm going to the next one. We don't give ourselves the choice. Because why? Because we know that we can be without cancer. This is why we can take the hardships. Now, unfortunately, because we're not really always in contact with a mind that is free from negative emotions, we don't have that trust. So mindfulness is not just on negative emotions, but also on positive states of mind that you have. That you go, wow, I could be like this 24 hours a day for the rest of my life. So that we develop this trust that we can become healthy. Otherwise, the best doctor cannot help you if you're not participating, if you don't have that trust. So again, it's just examples. Don't take it for a body doctor, because I know that some body doctors are maybe no good. And I also know, the body is going to die anyway. But the mind is not like this. The body we can never make totally healthy. It's impossible. With the body, you could always be healthier. And that's not healthy. But the mind, that's what the Buddha says. The mind can be brought to that total health. Now, okay, how do we know? Don't know. Now then you have to ask yourself, what can I lose if I trust? What can I lose? What can I lose if I trust in my own basic goodness and I start looking for it? And I start to see what covers it and try to take away the covering of it. What can I lose? What am I afraid of? It's very personal. It's very individual. It's good what Sarah is doing. Question, But these whole things about yes, but, make sure that you use them in a good way. Because very often the yes, but, instead of bringing us forward, it keeps us back. Okay? So these are the attitudes usually before you would become a Buddhist. Not before you start listening to teachings, but before you become a Buddhist. These are the attitudes. I'm the patient, the Buddha is the doctor, the Dharma is the medicine, and my practice is the cure. If you start with, if you are a Buddhist, and these attitudes, you keep them for a very, very long time, until the end almost. So if you have these attitudes, then you are like the patient who trusts the doctor and does whatever the doctor says, even though it's painful, even though there's side effects. If people wouldn't know about side effects in the chemotherapy, they would go once and never again. But because they know it's normal, they go back again and again and again and again. Okay, great. Thank you very much for coming. We didn't do the beginning prayers. I'm sorry. Usually at the beginning we take refuge, but we do the dedication and we do the long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So it's page... Anyway, we do a kind of freestyle dedication, if that's okay for you. So again, you reflect on the motive why you came here. And for that, it's good if you just sit and you close your eyes. And what's your name? Yeah. Howard. What Howard said, we go inside. Because that's what Buddhism is all about. This is also what the Buddha is encouraging us to do. Self-reflection. Why did I come here? And you don't have to say to anybody, just to yourself. Really honest. Why did I come here? Was I hoping for some biscuits in the break? And now shoot, no break. Or did I really come because why? You find out. So it might be quite a small goal. Then try to expand that goal, because we all, many people come because I'm not so well and I heard Buddhism has something to offer. Great. But then think, not just for myself. I want to be in a better way, so instead of harming others, maybe I can be of help, or at least not harm them. So you try to include these people that are close to you, around you. May it also benefit them, these teachings. If I become more peaceful, more loving, more wise, more patient. And then we go even further and we think not just the close ones, also the ones that I don't know, or even the ones that don't like me. May my listening to these things that have been said this evening might also benefit them. Might even benefit animals and even beings that we can't see, in case there are any spirits or things like that. Who knows? And may it bring me closer to that goal, that I can become the person that I really want to be. And for that you have to decide yourself how you want to be. Buddhism offers you a person with an open heart 24 hours a day, no fear. Being wise, knowing what to do to avoid suffering, knowing what to abandon that brings suffering. If you want to become like this, then you dedicate for that. May I quickly, very, very quickly attain the state of a Buddha, so I can be of benefit to all sentient beings. And then the long life prayer of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, because he is so precious for us, because he can inspire us with his presence and with his laughter and with his wisdom especially. Page, if anybody finds it, 34, page 34. For His Holiness the Dalai Lama. We sing it in Tibetan, or we can do this, the jewel bodhicitta. So, bodhicitta for some of you might not mean anything. So Tsogni Rinpoche started to change these words. And he said, may the supreme jewel of non-violence that has not arisen arise and grow. May that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Like, we just had a weekend in Palmo. We spent 2 days with 80 people, no violence, no bad words, people trying to help each other. It was so spacious. And it's possible. 80 people, many of them were not Buddhists, doesn't matter, but we were talking about something that we all have in common. We all die. And we would like to die in a good way. And, the energy that was there is really amazing. So we should remember these occasions. It is possible to do things without fighting, to do things together. You were there. How did you feel? Okay? Yeah. Okay, so why were we able to create such spaces? Why were? Because I received teachings. Leora received teachings. The people in the audience, some of you already received teachings. We were sharing these experiences and these things that we have. Thanks to people like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So we have to pray for their long life. And we do it in Tibetan. Kari rave korve shinkam dir pendan dewa malu chuwene Chenre siwan tensing yatsoi shape site pardu tengyu chik. And the next one is for the spontaneous fulfillment of his wishes. So that's quite nice. Also, we can sing it if you want. Janyanin chesun to shope Lam she che se tse kan chen ten dragon Jana pe moten sing yato La Asawadepso Sheten Lunjo Shok. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, I went over 5 minutes without giving you a break, so you're lucky that it's only 5 minutes. I usually get over much more. Before you go to sleep, maybe look at your day. If you have done something that you think was not very skillful, think, oops, not so good. No guilt, no shame, no nothing, not so good. May I be able to be more mindful tomorrow? And then you try to sleep in a good way, in a relaxed way. Thank you very much for coming, and maybe see you next Monday.